The reality is, most of us are gonna die broke, or because we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing now. And it doesn't matter what age. Some people say in their 20s, but in the 30s and the 40s, you're still neglecting the things that you should be doing in life to ensure you're not dying broke. Now, recently I was watching this video. I was scrolling on YouTube and I found this awesome video. This guy was really motivating. I wish I remember the name of the channel, but in the video, he was discussing how everyone now during these times are not handling their business, and by the time you hit 40, you're still working and you're not retiring. And he was trying to encourage people that at that age you should retire. You shouldn't be in your 60s working. Now in life, guys, I always believe there's little signs that's there you need to pay attention to, but we often just neglect. So I started looking into one of the comments. In one of the comments, someone said, "I am 68 years old. If I quit work right now, are you going to pay my bills?" And what he was trying to do was he was trying to be a little snarky because the person in the video that did the video, he was discussing how life is a lot easier and better when you just quit. Obviously, it is better, but when you quit and you're able to enjoy life rather than working in your 60s. And when I heard that guy's comment, it made me think. It really made me sit down and think and recognize so many people during these times are working into their 60s all because of the dumb mistakes they made or the lack of financial education that they got. Now, I'm not trying to beat up on this person at all. I don't know what kind of life that he had. But I'm thinking, man, the man is 68 years old going to work to just pay bills. That's it. Say if he had his first job at the age of 17. That means he worked 51 years in his life just to pay bills. Now, once again, I will admit, I am assuming, right, that everything in life was him just not being responsible. That's a big assumption. I understand now with the cost of everything being so high, with inflation, everything is just ridiculous right now. And it could be a good chance that something's happened in his life where he has to work into the age of 68, continually working to pay the bills. Not just simply for satisfaction or to find things to do, but strictly just to pay bills. Man, that was a tough one to listen to. But with all of that being said, there are people currently, right now, who have the opportunity to change their finances and they're not. They're doing all the wrong things, and all you're doing is guaranteeing in your 60s you will just have to work to just pay your bills because who else is going to pay for it? Social Security might not be around, and for most, it's just not enough. You see, so many people in their 20s and their 30s are living life extremely reckless and not doing the responsible thing. And then they're neglecting saving because they're saying, you know what, I'll get there when I get there. They're delaying all the gratification now because they have so much debt, and they're delaying everything. And by the time they get to retirement age and they start saving a little bit and they're saying, now I can finally retire, they pass away. And that's a sad story that I've been hearing so much. Even with people doing all the right things, being extremely frugal, saving and investing, and delaying all of this gratification. And once they hit retirement age, either they have some type of health scare where now they can't do the things that they want to do, or they pass away. You see, this whole video, guys, is just to have a conversation with you because my whole channel is all about just motivating people out there and making you recognize delaying all of the things that you should be doing in your 20s and your 30s. It's not a wise move. And you don't need to be so drastic where you're just delaying happiness in your life. Because a lot of times I see people say that. What's the point of saving if, making all these excuses? What's the point? Like, what's the point of saving and just not doing anything in life? So they just go extremely excessive with just enjoying life today because life is short. And then you end up being your 68, like the guy we just discussed in one of those comments, where all you're doing now is just working to pay bills. Who wants that? Who wants that life? Who truly wants that life? Now, I'm gonna tell you this because a lot of the stuff in my life had changed drastically, and I'm not here to tell you guys I'm some type of financial guru or what I'm gonna say is like you're wrong and this is everything you should do. Because I would acknowledge personal finance. Number one is personal. Everyone goes through certain things in life, but number one is it's hard. It's really hard to go against consumerism, especially in this day and age when social media is out there blasting the type of lifestyle you should live. It's not easy to become extremely disciplined. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have the financial education to understand the things that they need to do to build wealth. And that's why I'm just doing this video. That's why I do a whole bunch of YouTube videos to try to educate people on that. But I will tell you this, it's never too late to make those changes. And I certainly learned that in my life. Listen, in my 20s, I was young, wild, and reckless. I did not save, I did not invest, I didn't do any of that. Actually, I got married at a very young age and divorced quickly because I recognized life is real. And I don't know why I got married at a young age. It was for all the wrong reasons, and I had to do a reset in life. And I didn't learn, even with those mistakes I made financially, like making these commitments, financial commitments with marriage, how much of a long term effect it can have on me. And I need to be smarter in the things that I do when I start moving throughout life. I didn't do that. I didn't save. I didn't invest. I was just enjoying life because now I was newly divorced. So I just want to enjoy life. But in my 30s, I recognize I need to start making some changes in my life. Now, first of all, I recognize some of these changes I need to be making was at the age of 26. Is when I started going to college, had my first son. I remarried, did it the right way. Went to college, started, I wanted to go for finance and accounting. I needed some type of a degree, right? I felt like a degree would save me. Now, first of all, in my case, it has, right? Finance and accounting is an excellent, degree to have. But I'm not here to tell you that having a college degree will save you, in the future for to become financially stable. But I will tell you this, that it did help me in my situation. So I turned my life around during that time. But I recognized from looking around, there were so many people I was working with in the 50s or in the 60s. In the 60s, 'cause my first career was in IT. In the 60s, just complaining about changes happening at work and just complaining about the pay, complaining about everything. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be working until my 60s, all right, and in my late 50s in order to just pay bills and just survive. Who wants that life? So I quickly started making changes in my life and started paying attention to my childhood and paying attention to things that were happening during these times. And with my childhood, I've noticed that I grew up in a family where everyone was just hardworking. And the number one thing my family taught me was to just work hard. Work hard and that's it. You work hard, you get rewarded. And if you notice, that's not the case. And my family, they worked so hard, but they didn't save, didn't invest. No one discussed any of that. So I got the trait of working hard, but I never got the trait of investing. And now I'm seeing them retiring and passing away, leaving nothing from no one. They weren't able to do most of the things in life that I wanted to do, which is to travel and just enjoy life. They had to work late into their 60s and late into their 70s. Luckily, luckily, my mother, they automatically enrolled her in a 401k, which I love the fact that they did that. Because the fact is, she started saving and investing without even knowing it. And now she retired with a good amount of money simply because they put money on the side for her. But for majority of people, that's not the case. For majority of us, we need to just start saving and investing on our own because so many people just live reckless. Like there's a podcast that I've seen that sums this up pretty well when I'm discussing, which is the podcast stated you could buy anything but not everything, and that's really powerful because in life you can buy anything, but you can't buy everything. I wish I would know that in my 20s. Because now you see so many people just want to buy everything and they're overly consuming and buying all this stuff. And they're not taking care of the thing that's most important, which is themselves in the future. Everyone just wants to buy material things and go on vacation because they see that's what's going on in social media. Social media, man, has ruined so many people's lives. Luckily, it never ruined mine because I'm always quiet, I move on my own. But I've seen how when people get so influenced on things they see on social media, they think that they're failing in life just because everyone else is doing good. That's why I got out of Facebook. And I go on social media, but I only choose and select certain things that I watch. I don't just go there frivolously and start watching other people's lifestyle. I don't do that. I just go there to learn about finance and things like that. But the fact is that statement, you could get anything, but not everything is powerful. And it reminds me, when my son came to me, he told me, right? This goes back to you could buy anything, but not everything. He said to me, Dad, could you buy a Maserati? And I chuckled. And I thought about it. I'm really careful with certain things I say to my kids and certain ways I respond to them because, my son's 17 now, my daughter's 14. And I try to tell them, life, like what life is all about. And I told him, yes, I can. He's like, you can? And why you don't have it? I'm like, well, because I prioritize paying for your education once you go, in the future, once you go into college. I prioritize saving. I prioritize getting the house that I have now where I could raise you guys in. I prioritize the vacations that we take. I prioritize freedom. I prioritize all those things in my life more than having a Maserati. But I told them this. But if I did not pay for your school, save for 529 for your school, if I didn't prioritize saving for retirement, if I didn't prioritize most of the things in my life, then yeah, of course, I can get myself a Maserati. But where would that lead me? Where would that take me in life? The fact I have a Maserati. Who cares if I have a Maserati? The car right now that I'm taking you to school in is enough. The car that your mom has to go to work is enough. So I try to explain to him, you have enough in life. But here in America, you can get everything, right? In life, you can have everything, but you put yourself into so much trouble that in the end, you'll have nothing. And that's the key to this video, guys. I want to have a conversation with you guys about that because that comment of that guy saying at the age of 68, he has to continue to pay his bills is real. And that could be the path you could be heading towards right now in your life. And that's not a path that I want you to go. That's a path I certainly don't want to go. And it doesn't mean, guys, that you need to start just being excessive with saving, excessive. No, it doesn't mean all that. It just means you need to prioritize your saving and your investing as well. Because you do not want to be in your 60s having to look for a job. Okay, there's family members that I currently have right now that are applying for jobs in their 70s, trying to get a job now to just survive. And that's really sad. That's not the life that I want to have, and I'm pretty sure it's not the life that you want to have. So you really need to start prioritizing now your saving and your investing. And it's never too late. All those mistakes that you made in the past, I made in the past as well, those dumb mistakes, put you in the path you're on now to wake up and recognize I could still make the changes in life to change all the mistakes I made in the past to make my future better. Don't get me wrong, spending all that money and not saving, we had a great time. It was great. But now, if you recognize I need to make these changes, perfect. Right now is the best time for you to make those changes, especially if you recognize how important it is and how close you are to retirement. So I challenge you all, really, just sit back, relax, and think about your future and recognize that things you're doing now, if it's not right, you need to change it. Because the only person that could change it is you. But if you continue doing the same thing you're doing now and you're expecting later on in life everything will fix itself, it's not. Don't be that 68-year-old person that's just going to work to just pay bills. That's not living. That's dying slowly.